Good afternoon. It's my pleasure to introduce the resilience strategy of Taiwan's machine tools industry in the new normal era. I will start with a brief review about the impact survey of the pandemic to the industry in Taiwan. Then I will also summarize the tentative findings from our case study about the response of machine tools industry. In comparison with other strong industries in Taiwan, such as information and communication technology or semiconductors, the economic scale of machine tools industry is relatively small and vulnerable, yet its role is critical in the industrial development of Taiwan. Taiwan is a small and open economy compared to other Asian countries. Foreign trade is very important to the development of Taiwanese economy. And this means foreign shock always cause a lot of impacts on Taiwan. Before the escalation of the epidemic in 2021, the cooperation between the public and the private sector made Taiwan be the top one of the Bloomberg's COVID resilience ranking in 2020. To explore the impacts of the epidemic on enterprise and their own response with strategies in addition to the government's relief and revitalization measures, Taiwan's National Development Council launched the survey on the impacts of COVID-19 on Taiwan industry and the response strategies in the middle and the year end of 2020. Even in 2020, the negative impacts of the COVID-19 epidemic on Taiwan's manufacturing industry also happened in the first half of 2020. 78% of companies in the manufacturing industry faced the negative impacts. In the second half of 2020, the service sector benefited more significantly by the surge of so-called revenge consumption. According to the survey results, the negative impacts of COVID-19 on Taiwan's manufacturing industry in 2020 was mainly derived from the demand side of the market, and about 94% of the affected enterprises experienced a reduction in revenue and a decrease in demand. In addition, the impacts on supply side of enterprise was aggravated by the overseas supply chain disruption, especially on the price fluctuations of raw material and the shortage of key components. Facing the sudden impacts of epidemic in 2020, 83.3% of enterprises in manufacturing industry actively took countermeasures. The enterprises prioritized epidemic prevention, while the ban on travel and business trip is common, that almost 60% of manufacturing enterprises had used it. The second priority is to confirm whether the upstream supply of the company is stable, and the most common policies are stock taking of the suppliers' production capacity. In the second half of the year, the focus of Taiwan's manufacturing enterprise gradually shifted from self-prevention to ensuring the stability of components and the part supplies and production. Companies' response measures moved into securing production components and parts, automation and digitalization, and deepening their international presence, while the proportion of companies that increased safety stock grew by 15.7%. The growth in established automated or unmanned factories was 7.9%, and the decentralized manufacturing or global presence was 7.2%. Therefore, the role of machine tools industry will be critical, even that they are also impacted by the pandemic and other foreign shocks. Compared to other Asian countries, the pandemic caused greater challenges for Taiwan as well as other issues, such as the US-China competition, regional trade agreement, and the net zero emissions. Situated in the brink of United States and China competition, trade disputes caused some supply chains to relocate from China to the second source in the Southeastern Asia, where Taiwan is not the member of regional trade agreement, such as RCEP and the CPTPP. This causes the Taiwanese firms in the supply chains to bear more tax burdens than Japanese and Korean firms, especially in the non-information technology agreement products. As for the products in the ITA lists, the so-called faster supply chains and clean 5G networks also bring pressure to bear on the ICT front. Some move back to Taiwan, some relocate to ASEAN, yet many still stay in China. The impact from pandemic resulted in the border controls and work from home. We thank Japan for donating vaccines to us in this year to contain the spread of COVID. Many areas of the Southeastern Asia still face the dearth of vaccines and medicines, such that the supply chains there are hard to operate in the normal ways that people are unsafe. Hence, the new normal also means firms have to be resilient in their internal operation and external linkage, while digital transformation is necessary, not just optional. In addition, the net zero greenhouse gas emissions and the RE100 vision forces the firms in the supply chains to use the costly renewable energy. Hence, firms will need more efficient and multifunctional production equipment. On the case study of resilience for industry, I try to distinguish 4 levels of strategy. First level is about their internal operations, such as R&D and process innovation to enhance resilience. Supply chain level is about the external linkage that firms use collaborative innovation, provide turnkey solutions, and find insourcing and outsourcing partners to stay strong together. The industrial system level is about how to keep growth with the mega trend of industrial developments, such as the regional trade agreement, carbon neutral, RE100, smart cars, and gadgets. As for the digital architecture for resilience, it's mainly about the digital transformation of the industry to adapt to the new normal. For example, they will make use of the VR, AR, AI, IoT, maintenance, while also face the platform dominance of the leading firms. Machine tool is the core technology of modern manufacturing industries. They are composed of many functional components and parts, such as bearings, motors, belts, screws, cutters, linear gateways, controllers, interface, and etc. Hence, they are capable of drilling, milling, storing, printing, stamping, shearing, forming, folding for the manufacturing of products as tiny as microchips or as gigantic as airplanes. Their key end users are the automobiles, aerospace, ICT, and other consumer products industries. Taiwan is not strong in the automobile and the aerospace industry. This kind of situation will not be favorable for the machine tool to develop. To evaluate the development of machine tools in Taiwan, we use the HS code about metal cutting and metal forming from 8456 to 8463. Even under the unfavorable end user industry in the early stage, the traditional industry, such as process, metal fasteners, metal tools in the 1970s, gave birth to the initial development of the localized industrial machines. The FDI in China of Taiwanese firms induced the high growth of machine tools export from Taiwan to China. In the past decades, the export shares is about 75% of the total output value. Its export value is ranked as the fifth largest in the world, next to Germany, Japan, China, and Italy. Over 1/3 of its export is for China market, while other key markets include Europe, United States, ASEAN, and Turkey is the emerging market. About 1/2 of its imports is from Japan. This also reflects that the niche end user markets of machine tools for Japanese and Taiwanese firms are differentiated. From the input-output analysis, we can find that the imported input occupies 21% of output value, which is mainly about the controller that define the function of the machine tools. The local input is mainly about the metal parts, whose initial input also come from abroad. Hence, foreign shocks always impact this industry in Taiwan, and its profit margin is about 10% on average. To understand the resilience strategy in response to the new normal, we have in-depth interview with the capital firms and the industrial associations. Their products include key components, machine centers, and the turnkey solution. Their end users industry also include automobile and aerospace industry in the United States and Europe. Here, I try to summarize my key findings under the 4 levels of the resilience strategy. On the first level, since high-end users require high stability and familiar control interface, it will be very hard for the firms to change their controller if they want to lower their cost. They still have opportunity in the middle class of products that they can substitute imported controller by the domestic products. Besides, they also try to manufacture some of the new specifications from the merged companies in Europe by lower cost, while also sell the high-end products from the merged firm to the Asian market. In addition, process innovation is also an option. Through the cooperation with the university professors, they can improve the production process management and visualize the sequences to serve their customers. On the supply chain level, early engagement with target industry is of vital importance for the collaborative innovation. For the firms that are relocated in Taiwan or ASEAN, they try to provide turnkey solutions which enhance the production efficiency. Due to the border control, they are not able to provide on-site service in the foreign countries. Hence, training the foreign agent for their local services are also very important. On the industrial system level, since becoming the member of RCEP or CPTPP may not be possible in the near future, one of their options is to enlarge the production facility of their overseas factories. As for the challenges of their customers due to carbon neutral and RE100, they must develop multifunctional machine centers to replace single function machines so as to enhance their energy efficiency of manufacturing. In addition, they are also eager in early engagement with the smart electric vehicle and the gadget producers, since the production lines will need considerable new machines. On the digital architecture for resilience, the adoption of new digital technology will enable the digital transformation of the industries and help them adapt to the new normal. For example, the trailer maintenance services are realized by the VR, AR, and other necessary sensors, lens, and controllers. Yet this kind of transformation is based on the specific platform and will face the dominance of those platforms. To sum up, my tentative conclusion on the case study of machine tools in Taiwan includes, firstly, the exchange rate is still a key issue for SMEs, since their profit margin are only 10% and will be easily eroded by the appreciation of Taiwanese dollar, while large firms can circumvent the fluctuation by their overseas subsidiaries. Besides, the catch of Chinese firms will be inevitable, since they enjoy huge domestic market and the advantage of regional trade agreement. Hence, firms should consider about their optimal size for specialization and differentiation. To be the SMEs, they can avert the risk of market shocks on a limited scale. To establish alliance for market expansion, and team of machine tools firms in the central Taiwan is an example. While mutual benefits in the alliance may be contradicted with each other. In addition, significant cost share from the controller may be persistent, since controllers dominate the functions of each machine tools, and this is what the end user expect most. This is the end of my presentation. Thank you for your attention.